All right, questions for Coach. Start with Keith Smith.
Hey, Brad, without being cliche, is that more Celtics basketball tonight with the ball movement, the player movement, and then the scrambling and helping on defense?
I don't know how well we actually defended, Keith. I think that they had us, I would say you used the right word. They had us scrambled instead of like rotating. I think whenever you go to like defensive clinic, defensive coaches call it rotating because their teams are really rotating around well, and the offensive guys are trying to get you to scramble. And I thought we were scrambling more than rotating, but credit them for that. They put us in a bind in a lot of ways. And then on the other end, we played closer to what we want, but still, let's back it up with a bunch of games in a row playing that way.
Brian Robb.
Hey, Brad. Big scoring contributions from the bench tonight. Did you just was there a different level of aggression from that group, do you feel like? And how big is that for you guys going forward, to just fill in those gaps offensively?
I mean, it's really important. Like that, we just need, we went with Teague. Teague and Peyton both played really well in that second game at Indiana that we won a couple months ago, and they kind of led that comeback in the late third, early fourth. Teague was coming off of, he was probably, our most encouraging performance on Wednesday, just because he hadn't played as much and played pretty well, especially offensively. I thought he was great tonight. Peyton was really good. He was really engaged, and Robert, gave us what certainly he's capable of giving us. We don't need that scoring every single night, but we need that kind of like the way that they played every night. And so, it wasn't a great matchup for a couple of our guys that normally play, and they'll get more opportunities when the matchup presents itself. But I was really happy for Jeff. This has not been an easy transition for him. He didn't play the way he wanted to or didn't feel good about it, but he's been putting in as much work as any of our young players over the last 2 weeks, and I think that's showing and paying off.
John Corrales.
Brad, you talked about bringing your own energy in these situations, obviously without fans. It seemed like the bench was especially loud and active, the guys who were sitting on the bench during the game. Was that a point of emphasis for you guys to kind of bring more energy from the bench? Well,
first of all, we've played in front of fans everywhere else, John. Like the last 3 games, we have been playing in front of fans. And so it is like eerily quiet in here versus other places that we play. And so it is a little bit of an adjustment. I would say that when you go through, the first part of the season that we've gone through where you're treading water in a lot of ways, you have a better chance of your team ripping apart and staying together and just kind of galvanizing itself. And that's all we've talked about. Just stay together. Like our greatest legacy that we'll leave, no matter how many games we win, is how we treat each other in these moments and how we stay together so that we can ultimately become as good as we can be. And that's it. And so I think that the bench was loud. I think that the starters were loud. I think Kemba helped will us to a win in a lot of ways. But I think it was just a matter of everybody just deciding that the most important thing was to support each other and be together.
Jared Weiss.
Kemba and Teague, they both got to the line 8 times. How important is it for your point guards to be attacking deep into the paint? How much did that open things up for you?
Well, we need everybody that can attack to attack. I've said this before, and one of the reasons, again, why we went with Teague is we just need more shot creation. And it doesn't necessarily mean shots for them or free throws for them. It's the ability to get into the paint, sink the D, and make the right play. And I think that that's, something that has not been as consistent for our team. Obviously, it's shown itself a lot on second night of back-to-backs when Kemba hasn't played. But they both did an excellent job tonight. And then I thought Peyton had a ton of loose ball energy points that also were huge for us. So all 3 of those little guys did a good job tonight.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, is it good to get a win on a night that Tatum and Brown both weren't just, weren't on, just weren't quite themselves, and to kind of grind out a win? I mean, they pushed you, but you guys pushed back. Is that satisfying more than you want to win every game by 30, but you also want to be challenged, and tonight you were, it seems.
Gary, it's good to get a win on a day that ends in Y right now. That's all I can say. It's just good to get a win. And I don't care how we did it, other than stay together, play together. Doesn't matter who's having an off night. Doesn't matter who's having a great night. It's about our team finishing it and figuring out a way to win. And, I thought some of Tatum's best moments were when he came right back in the game in the third quarter. He looked like he had kind of found that energy and that extra burst. But, those guys aren't always going to be able to do what they've done. And so we do have to pick up for them. So, yes, it was good, but it's just nice to get a win this week.
Matt Vidor.
Brad, did it seem like Kemba was stronger in the fourth quarter than he's been, both stronger and more confident?
I thought he was really good in that run late in Dallas, Matt. So I don't know about stronger per se. I just thought, I don't think we win the game without his will tonight. Like, I think that no matter how everybody's playing, when that thing was 18-4, he was the loudest voice. He willed us back into that thing. And then now we're back on our footing. We have a little bit of confidence, which had been shot right this week. And so that's what really good players do. And that's what veterans do. That's what guys that have been there, done that, and done it for a long time do. And so I really thought he led us tonight.
Last couple of questions for Coach. We'll go to Adam Himmelsbach.
Brad, this was another one where Kemba played really well, particularly offensively, coming off his day off with the back-to-back.
Funny how that works, isn't it, Adam?
Yeah.
These games run together for everybody. That's part of it.
So aside from everything with his knee, with these games so crammed together, are you seeing other guys, do you feel at all that Tatum looks worn down a little bit? Is this something maybe in the second half you look to kind of steal other guys having a day off like this on a back-to-back to try to get legs like he appears to be having?
Yeah, we've had a lot of deep conversations about the right way to approach the intensity of these schedules. We've been in a really tough spot from the standpoint of, you're always missing somebody right now. And, and when Kemba sits on the second night of a back-to-back, you're missing, two of your four best players. And so that has presented some challenges and some uniqueness, but I think we all have to. Yeah, we all have to be alert to that. But it's also why, you're just doing the best you can right now. And I think that we'll have a little bit more freshness as this week goes along, just because you're sleeping in your own bed. You're not getting in at 2 a.m. consecutive nights like we did earlier this week. And you'll just kind of catch up that way and hopefully feel good by the end of the week.
All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.